Greetings, gamers! Welcome to part 41 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance. And in today's wonderful episode, I'm going to be breaking down this door with Galzus, the good old, wonderful, general, slaying man that he is, providing a beautiful axe for Titania, and stealing some more treasure. That Master Seal is going to come in handy for certain, because I need to sell it. It's definitely not going to come in handy in the idea that I'm going to necessarily use it for do I want to do this? Can he actually damage her? Well, I mean he's doing 12. She's only doing 11 times 2. Actually, it's going to take her 3 hits to get him down. So what I need to do is unequip. Wouldn't it be great if he went and attacked Toronio? No, it wouldn't, because she would end up getting both her hits off on him. I actually think I'm just not going to put him here yet. Not until I get rid of this bishop. Would be nice to finish her off, but just waste. One of the beautiful things about racing. But yes, so finishing off the treasure hunt as well as gathering physic, I think would be nice to have you here to do some smiting. Potentially taking and dropping, but I think I can do that with Devdan. Either way, don't think I have anybody else I can heal over here. Tormod has been all but useless for this part of the chapter. Of course, he does have magic, which is triple or double effective against this unit. So 18 plus 18. 36 is not that big a deal here. We're talking about 11 damage. Even if he crits her, yes, that's a lot. It's not that significant of damage. I don't really care particularly. I'm just going to let it be. All right, go ahead and strike me. Oh, he's by racing again. Hilarious. Hilarious, but also stupid. Ike is going to receive another 16. Nice. I would actually like to KO Ina with, not Toronio, but Ike particularly. But that's going to depend on if such a thing is even possible, because I just don't know. Smite. Alright, so anybody can trade here. Good old Toronio can. He can actually take that Brave Sword. Would be nice. That's actually a weapon I typically do give to Toronio because he's a great user of it, especially with Vantage and Resolve. So, with that being said, I think that's just going to be my turn. Yeah, I've been cutting myself off lately in this episode, but yeah, so I have not much left to do in this chapter, particularly. In fact, once I steal this physic here, trade, steal, thank you for the physic. Ike needs the experience points probably most here out of all of my units, so Ike is going to be the one who receives that set of experience points. Nice damage. Very nice. You're actually doing something. A couple of turns later, because I think his Pure Water has pretty much, yes, worn off. Attack. 6 times 2. Well, he does have a whole lot more hit with the Brave Sword than he does with the Silver Blade. I kind of... Actually, I think the best idea here would be to use the defender. And next turn, I will be doing my darndest to get her elixir off of her, which isn't going to be hard at all. You know, I'm saying doing my darndest, but it's going to be a pretty easy task. I did receive Thoron. Ooh, a 10 might A rank Thunder Tome. Good old Tormod has A in Thunder, so that is something going to be entering his inventory pretty soon. Unfortunately, only has 20 uses, but it's okay. Much better. Magic in this game is much better by and large per usage sake than in Thracia. If you had wished to extend your short lifespan, then you should not have appeared before me. Yeah, so he actually would have done much better with the Brave Sword there. Especially given the fact that he was hitting her twice. I mean, it wouldn't have been much. Well, it wouldn't have been much more damage, but it still would have been more damage. Brave Sword, 17 times 2. 34. Nice. And she missed. And you can see the qualities of such a wonderful thing. Oh, I cannot steal that because I would need to first take off the talisman. Does he have... he's lacking speed. That's why. Ah. Not great. Trade. I'll take that defender back, my friend. 7 times 2. Why is a Goldone dragon in the service of King Dan? I merely want to be near the one I love. He is my everything. That is why I must defeat you, or I... The one she loves. Could she be talking about Ashnard? That's kind of strange. Yeah, and she does not give that much experience points, which is why I decided that I would just give it to Ike anyway, because looking at Toronio, does the man need that much experience points right now? And the answer is a quick and clean no. He just does not. That Occult Scroll is going to be very useful for Ike, though. I'm going to finally be able to give him Aether, which, speaking of, it is time to end this episode, oh my gosh, end this chapter with a good old seize from Ike. Everything has been done. You are strong. I have lost. Then calm yourself and surrender. There's no reason for you to die. That I cannot do. What? I must go to him. No, wait. Nazir, good timing. Grab her, will you? I'm sorry. Nazir? Ike! Nazir, what are you doing? Go now, hurry. So you were the traitor. Someone's been giving information to the enemy. Was that you, too? In Mist Medallion? Are you telling me you've been working for Dayan this whole time? But you're a Leguse. Why? Talk to me. This is useless. Get him out of here. His traitorous face is making me ill. Blast. Until this has been cleared up, you'll be held in custody. I won't question you anymore. When you decide to talk, let me know. Go to Pelmeni Temple. What did you say? Castle Crimea, the home of Ashnard. So the capital's fallen, hey? I knew it would come to this. Still, how disappointing. It doesn't matter how well you train an army. If they don't fight, they become weak. What's the life of a soldier without a steady diet of war? Blood and pain are the foods of a true warrior.
So speaking of soldiers, Your Highness, the majority of our forces have been moved here.
I left more than enough soldiers, and yet they could not prevail. I may have overestimated Ina. Even if she is a dragon, I suppose that was the best she could do.
I suppose.
But the important thing is the Black Knight. Where's he gotten to? Did you see him in the capital?
I did, but he bid me present this to Your Majesty.
Ah, it's found its way back to my hands at long last. Unwrap it quickly. Unwrap it and show it to me.
Very well.
Do be careful not to touch it, Patrine. It wouldn't do to have you go mad. I'd hate to have to kill you.
Here it is, Your Majesty.
Behold, how wonderful. See how it reacts to the war I have brought to this pathetic land.
This is Leiron's medallion?
Yes, and inside is a dark god of immeasurable power and cruelty. It once caused a flood so great that all continents save Tellius were submerged in a watery tomb.
That blue light.
You, me, even this very castle itself, we all radiate various forms of chaotic energy, and the dark god is pure chaos. The light you see that is that energy calling out to the chaos around us. That is why some scholars refer to it as the fire emblem. Look how you tremble. This light has the power to bewitch the human soul, you know. It calls to our chaotic impulses, like the urge to slaughter every living thing in sight. Do you feel its invitation, the permission to act on any base of motion that resides in your heart, no matter how unspeakable?
My report is not finished.
Ah, Patrine. Guard. Yes, Your Highness? Wrap the medallion and place it in the vault. At once. Go on, the report.
Of course, yes. As Your Majesty ordered, the Black Knight moves to capture Princess Serenus. At last report, he was on his way to Phoenicius.
I see. So he's decided on the princess and not the prince, eh? Did he give any reasons?
Yes, Your Highness. It was based on the findings of a group of scholars. Because the princess was isolated for over 20 years, they feel her magic will be stronger than her brother's.
Yet, can the Black Knight outwit the Hawk King of Phoenicius and steal her away?
The Hawk King is not always at her side, plus, as you know, the Black Knight is in possession of warp powder. If someone of his might has the ability to appear or disappear at will, it may be that he is without equal. Oh, with the exception of Your Majesty, of course, I mean.
I will have to test that someday. But not today. It's not too often that one finds a tool as useful as he is.
Well spoken, Your Majesty.
Now then, Patrine, my dear Patrine, you have made one blunder after another. How will you prove your worth to me? If you wish to remain in my service, you must show me results, unless you too wish to become food for Radiance here.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You can be a general, or you can be dinner. I don't really care which. But do try to show a little initiative, won't you?
Yes, Your Highness, but by your leave?
Hold, I forgot one thing. What happened to Ina when the capital fell?
According to all reports, she escaped. Her current location is unknown. However, this is Ina we're speaking of. She will return to Your Majesty, will she not?
Kill her.
What?
I've no further use for her. Oh, but if it's too much for you to kill her outright, use her trust and stab her in the back.
As you wish.
One would dare say that Ashnard is quite a bit psychotic, and I would agree. Overcoming many hardships, Ike and company finally arrive in the Dan capital of Navassa. However, much to their dismay, King Ashnard is nowhere to be found. According to intelligence reports, the king is in Crimea's capital of Melior, preparing to wage war against Gallia. In addition, at least half of the Daean army, including its most elite forces, remain unharmed and at his side. The Crimean army is again forced to march. This time, however, the battlefield will be their own homeland. Eagerly awaiting their arrival is a Daean army more powerful than anything they have faced so far. This fact, coupled with Nazar's act of betrayal, has filled Ike with apprehension and disappointment. Yet it is then, when all hope seems faint, that unexpected good news arrives. Chapter 22, Solo. Daean Keep.
General Ike, sir, reinforcements have arrived from Begnion.
Reinforcements? I haven't heard anything about this. Have you, Princess Alencia?
No, not a word.
Are you sure they're from Begnion?
Yes, sir. They fly Begnion's insignia. There can be no doubt of their authenticity. And the man in command is one of Begnion's most beloved heroes, General Zelgius. There's no mistaking him, sir.
Allow me to meet with him first.
I beg your pardon. Are you General Ike?
I am, and you are?
I am Zelgius, Earl of Cardol. I've been dispatched from Begnion with a battalion to support your army.
Your assistance is much appreciated, but this is very unexpected.
I understand your surprise. For Begnion's Imperial Senate, this decision was made with unusual haste.
I imagine so. It took forever just to get the soldiers I have now.
Well, there's a reason behind this expedited decision. Duke Perses has returned home.
Do you mean Sephiran?
Correct. Duke Perses is also senior statesman of the Imperial Senate. The Duke returned from his travels and began working immediately to settle pressing affairs of state. First, he met with the Apostle, and they exchanged reports on both foreign and domestic matters. Then they discussed Begnion's position in relation to the current conflict and possible courses of action. In less than half a day, they brought the entire Imperial Senate into line and sent us here to you.
So you're saying that Begnion has allied itself with Crimea, is that it?
That's it exactly. I am at your service, General Ike.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Now then, please tell me what you would have my men do. I'm ordered to help in any way possible.
You've caught me off guard. I can't think of anything right now.
In that case, do I have permission to make camp around the palace and rest my troops?
Yes, please do. That's no problem.
Thank you. Please do not hesitate to call if you have need of us. We are at your disposal.
Begnion reinforcements. That was unexpected, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It seems the Apostle and Sephiran did the impossible by getting them to us.
Oh, for our little army. It's hard to believe they would go to all this trouble. First we take Daean's capital, and now this. Things are looking up.
You're right. Even if we don't receive help from Gallia, we still may be able to defeat Ashnard.
That's true. It's like a dream.
I have to disagree.
Oh, look. Soren is upset again. Who knew? What is it this time?
If the Crimean army is not the crux of Daean's defeat, this war means nothing.
What does that have to do with the arrival of these reinforcements?
The battalion that just arrived is greater in numbers than the one we originally received. Not only that, but all of these soldiers are marching under Begnion's name. So, if these reinforcements are responsible for defeating King Daean, what do you think will happen? That achievement, the victory itself, will belong to the Begnion Empire, not to Crimea. If that happens, Crimea will be rebuilt however Begnion sees fit, and Princess Alencia will be a mere figurehead. And then the deeds of an unknown mercenary company will be expertly covered up. We'll receive some paltry sum of money and be swept under a rug somewhere, mark my words.
Soren, you're being so rude. Surely the Apostle of all people would never do such a thing.
And this General Zelgius seems sincere enough to me. I don't care how sincere these folks are. Soren, though I do not necessarily agree that he is the master tactician that these games like to point him out to be, Soren does bring up some very incredibly important points of contention Crimea's restoration needs to be done by Crimea alone. Now, with the help of others, sure, but Crimea should be at the head. As Soren says, the crux of this. It just makes sense. It'd be like if we had another revolution in America. Hallelujah, one can hope. But in our stead of fighting, we got the UN, those useless vagabonds, to do the fighting for us. I think that would be insanity. Help, maybe if they were to supply weapons and means of war, but never would a revolution succeed in any country where that revolution isn't first fought by and mostly of the people of that nation. And unfortunately, with the way the world is going, it looks like there's going to be a lot of revolutions all over the place.
Come, Soren. I have heard of situations like that which you describe, but whether this is such a case, we've been fortunate to receive this goodwill. Must we always search for such ulterior motives?
Yes, we must. Have you forgotten Nazir? It's that sort of naive attitude that allowed him to remain undetected for so long. You people don't seem to get it. We are at war. All doubts, no matter how small, must be extinguished. If they aren't, we could well be ignoring something that will lead to our defeat or to our death. Let's take Soren's comments under consideration and discuss this at length when we meet in 1 hour. And the report, I got a whopping 10 gold. That's kind of funny. Where did I get 10 gold from? MVP was Ike and new ally Toronio, my favorite new ally. Perfect. Fantastic. Thank you for your report. Info. Hey Ike, General Ike, wait up. Say, if there's an enemy on my way but I don't want to kill him, what do you think I should do? Is this about that stupid game again? Well, it's all your fault. You had to go and tutor Daniel, and now I've been on the losing streak. Tutor? You mean back when we were on board the ship? It was just one hint. Daniel isn't like me. He's smart. I'm the one who thought up this game, but he's the one who's getting better and better. I hardly ever win anymore. Instead of playing that game, why don't you try some real combat? Quit being a fool, Ike. Not everybody is meant to be a fighter. Stop joking around. We're happy-go-lucky traveling merchants. We don't know anything about fighting. Give me a break. It's nice you're having fun and all, but please, can you save your stupid game for someone who's not fighting for their life day in and day out? There are so many people who think that Ike is just this kindest, sweetest, nicest dude on earth because he's so tolerant and loving of all these evil and narcissistic things in this so-called universe and Tellius. This guy is just... It's like today, modern day people think, oh, that guy's nice, and he's a rapist. There's nothing nice about evil people. Oh, he's a liar? Oh, but he's nice to people. Oh, he's a thief, but he donates to charity. Who cares? Nice does not make a good person. Well, what do you expect? Everything's war, and there's no place for us. All we can do is play this game. Sorry, I'll just go lose again. Oh, for heaven's sake. Look, if there's an opponent you don't want to kill, just shove him out of the way. Then you don't have to fight him. Huh? Oh, thanks. We are what we are, but we'll be with you till the end. I hope we can continue to be of service, all right? Yeah, thanks. Sorry for being so irritable. That's all right. I know that you're acting like a feverish little child, but I know how much stress you've been under. And that's an excuse for your attitude and actions, right? Modern thinking. Something on your mind?
Oh, Commander Ike, oops. I guess I'm supposed to call you General now, huh?
Commander's fine. So what's going on? Are you thinking about that person you were looking for?
That's all settled. Actually, no, it's not really settled. It's just, I figured that worrying about it all the time wasn't doing me any good. I turned over every rock in Begnion during my search, but it's just easier to assume that everything's going well somewhere.
Well, as long as you're happy, I won't say a word. So what were you thinking about then?
I didn't say anything before, but Dayan is my homeland.
Is that so?
Yeah, until a few years back, I lived in the slums of Navasa and stole for a living. So anyway, I went back to my old stomping grounds and saw some old friends. The rest of the city's empty, but they're still there. They've got no other place to go, you know?
And what did they have to say?
Everyone was mad that Crimea had won. They said if the king had been here, there's no way they would have been defeated. It's so weird. Until now, all they ever had done was complain about this place.
I see.
You know, Ashnard wasn't such a bad king, at least as far as we could see. If you were strong enough, you could rise up and become a knight one day. You could escape the filthy slums. He was the only king who ever gave us that chance, that hope. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind fighting with all of you. But still, seeing your homeland scarred and trampled like this is tough. I'm sorry, I know Crimea is suffering in the same way, but I can't change how I feel.
Yep, war will do that. War will definitely do that. Stefan! What is it, Mordecai? You seem upset. Detest means hatred. Ignorant means dumb. Why do you hate your country? Why do you insult me? Detest doesn't mean hatred. That's dumbed down. That just means you heavily dislike something. It's like, what is that word? Not detest, but despise. It's close to despise, but despise is a more strong adjective for that. But ignorant doesn't mean dumb. Dumb means you cannot speak. Ignorant doesn't mean stupid either. Stupid means you have a lack of intelligence by choice. Ignorance means you have a lack of intelligence, or knowledge, I should say, and it's usually not by choice whatsoever. There is plain ignorance where you have decided to be ignorant about things. You choose not to know, but usually that turns into stupidity. So, no, in fact, Stefan was not insulting you. You've been studying. Impressive. Listen, I didn't mean to say you were dumb. I just meant that sometimes it's better not to know some things, like what it means to hate. Stefan, you do not answer my question. Since you've been studying so much, I've got another thing for you to look up. I'm one of the branded. Perhaps that will explain why I detest my country and why ignorant Legus detest me. Legus hate you? Because you are branded? Stefan, your words confuse me. Morum can't talk. Yeah, so Taronio has Rolf, and I think there's one other man he's capable of supporting with, but the problem is even though I could use him, he's just not on my radar for use because I have other people I want to use particularly. However, with that being said, I have a lot of managing to do in this convoy. And I gotta say, to those who may not necessarily like the fact that I go off screen to do the management of the convoys and whatnot, these episodes would be a mite bit longer, and the series would be a mite bit longer as well. So do keep that in mind. Already we're looking at, because I'm giving all of these quote-unquote miniature bios of all these units that I'm playing as, this game is already taking almost as many episodes as when I used to do all of the convoy management basically on screen. With that being said, I'll see you all in a few. And I am back with a bit of forging to do. I'm going to make a throwing lance for good old... I halfway want to give him crit on this. For good old Taronio. And this is going to be called the Wishless. And I want to make it a nice blue for Taronio. How about that? Pretty good weapon. 11 might, 85 hit, 9 crit. That's the best I could have possibly made it. So a spear is technically better when it comes to power, but it has less might and also less crit than this weapon. So I am going to obviously be using the spear up before I use the quote-unquote wishless. But yeah, I thought I'd make him something. Because you can only forge once per chapter in this game, I do find it kind of needful that in the late game, pretty much the rest of the time that I make forges in this game, it's going to either be maybe a tome or it's going to be a ranged weapon. I'm likely not making any more swords, for folks like Ike and whatnot, I'm just going to buy them better swords, because ranged weapons are in need of being better, and the best way to do that is with forges. Now, granted, Volk has the stiletto. It is effective against armored units, which means it has 16 might instead of 8. It's the most powerful combat knife. This is pathetic. 8 might, 95 hit, 10 crit, 8 weight. At Volk's max strength, he either has 22 or 23, which means he either has a 30 or 31 attack with max strength, max might. Now, there is a way to make this better. You can give him resolve, because you do get a scroll for that at some point in this game. He does cap out at 30 skill and 30 speed. Alongside of that 23, I'm going to say it's 23 strength, right? I'm not entirely sure if that's the case, but I want to say that that is. And if that's the case, that means that he is going to have 34 strength, 45 skill, and 45 speed with all 3 of those caps. Now, in that case, he would actually be doing some pretty good damage with the stiletto. But you need a skill for him to be doing, you know, like, reasonably what most people's endgame damage is going to be without that skill. So, yeah, not impressive to say the absolute least. I love this chapter coming up. However, because time has pretty well run out, the story was long and convoluted, and I had a lot of complaining to do about Mr. Ike and his bad attitude. I'm playing a game. Don't make fun of the games. I'm playing a war game, Ike. You are in a war game. Quit it. You're nonsense. I know everybody can't be perfect all the time. I'm not blinded by that fact. But there is some things that I do just have like a little bit of a bone to pick with that man. I wish he was written as an actual more relatable man, because he is not relatable to like any good man. Maybe some like modern super demasculinated men, but definitely rubs me the wrong way. With that being said, I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.